Oh, shoot. Okay, what's up, guys? Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, etc. Let's just get right into it because I'm not trying to waste anybody's time. Um, yeah, so this is kind of the science behind how to really achieve your dream physique. I know this is something that guys, it's not easy, okay? I'm just gonna preface it's not gonna be easy and it does require change, but it's change that you'll never look back on, okay? It's something that you always take forward with you and be grateful you did. So, you know, you can make the decision right now, whether or not you want to keep watching this video. Look, do I want to change? Do I want the information to really achieve my dream physique, or do I want to just be how I am the rest of my life? Your choice. Okay, let's get right into it. Now that everyone that isn't serious has left, sadly. Okay, let's get right into it. Okay, so today we're going to talk about thermogenesis, what it is, how it works, and then kind of the concept that really is associated with it. So, calories in, calories out. If you don't know what that is, you need to watch more of my videos or something. Excuse me, guys. Just had a ghost. Two, genetics. Are you screwed if your parents are fat? Are you going to be fat no matter what? Is it hopeless for you? Uh, all the scary things. Food. So, processed versus whole foods. What's the difference? Is it necessary, absolutely necessary, to only eat whole foods? Or you're never going to achieve your dream physique? I'll tell you right now, that's not the case. Um, and then discipline, which is arguably the most important thing. How to evolve your current self and what you need to do to get there. Also, just like the mindset surrounding it. Okay, so let's just jump right into thermogenesis. Okay, guys, so this is not a super complex concept, but it sounds like it. So, what is thermogenesis, right? Thermogenesis is gen, if we look at this right here, that means the creation of what? Let me guess, guys. Heat. So, so we're creating heat via our biology and just all the chemical reactions taking place in our body, right? So, because our body is doing all these little micro chemical reactions in our body all day, we actually burn a decent amount of calories just to stay alive. Okay. And so that's what the BMR is. This number right here, well, this bar, and this is subject to change, guys. So you could even see somebody that's a little bigger being kind of up here, bigger as in taller, but fat is not nearly as metabolically active as muscle, so just being fatter won't increase it that much. Okay, so this is if I was to lay in bed all day, and this is probably pretty close to mine, 5'6", like 170 ish. Um, but maybe a little lower because yeah, short guy syndrome. But okay, yeah, so basal metabolic rate is if I was to lay in bed all day, how many calories would I burn um, just to stay alive? Not really like eating, not doing this or that, not exercising, that's for sure. And so you can see that most people are probably right around that 2000 number, but less. Okay, so always undershoot this number. So let's just say, for my sake, I'm just around 1700. Um, because I do have a lot of muscle, not to flex on you guys, but I do have a lot of muscle. So 1700 calories. That's what I would need just to maintain my body weight, assuming I did nothing. Now, what are these other things going on here, right? So the thermic defect of food, we don't like. Okay, we're not gonna really take this into account because we're numbers people, right? And we want the numbers, but the thermic effect of food is hard to calculate, and it's a very variable. So it can change a lot between people, and it's easier to just not really consider that we're burning maybe 200 calories here. And I certainly don't want people to, when they eat 1,000 calories, be like, well, because of the thermic effect of food, I only ate 800. No, guys, 1,000 calories is 1,000 calories. I don't want to hear no excuses about the thermic effect of food. You burn some calories because you have to metabolize the food. which needs energy, and will create a little extra calorie burn. But that being said, I don't even think eating 6 meals is worth it, because it'll take just as much digestion power from 2 or 3 meals. Don't quote me on that. Okay, physical activity. So you can see this could be a large portion, up to almost 1,000, maybe, yeah, 1,500 calories in some cases. And honestly, in sedentary, which a lot of people in America are becoming very sedentary, I would almost say that this would be, believe it or not, people burn less than 300 calories. I mean, I don't even know if this exercise bar would count. Okay, sorry, I'll stop going off on a tangent. So, non exercise additional thermogenesis, or NEAT, is basically the idea that bringing in groceries, doing laundry, cooking, cleaning, um, will burn additional calories up to, even 1,000 in some cases. This is probably just due to somebody, maybe a blue collar worker, burning a lot of additional calories, not even exercising. And then you could burn anywhere from 100 to 400, 400 or 500 calories, if you're doing longer cardio, or aerobic exercise. Then you'll probably burn a little more. That being said, most people are probably in this range. And so let's squish this down, move this down. Your total daily calorie expenditure is probably less than 2,500. And guys, so these numbers, they all matter, but even more so, what matters is the amount of calories that we're going to put in, right? So, and we'll get into that, but it none of this is an excuse to eat more. So if we add in our physical activity with our basal metabolic rate, and let's say our estimated total daily expenditure is around 2,400, that means we need to eat below 2,500 in order to lose weight, right? Guys, I've never used this before. I'm trying. And guys, I can't go into everything today, but I will go more into the science. I really just want to give you like an understanding of what these concepts mean. But if, let's say, I wanted to lose weight and I knew I had to eat below 2,500, if I wanted to lose a pound a week, I could shoot anywhere from 2 to 400 calories in a deficit, right? So what does that mean? It means if my goal is to eat 2,500 to lose or to maintain weight, I need to eat anywhere from 2,100 to 2,300 to lose 1 pound per week. If I want to lose 2 pounds per week, I'm going to shoot that number up. And guys, this is a number you got to play with, okay? This is why tracking is so helpful, because otherwise it's just hard to know how many calories you're eating. Like, I am a smart guy, I can do it in my head, but at some point it becomes too much to remember. Okay, I hope you guys got all that. We're moving on. That's thermogenesis part one. Okay, so along with that, we have the calories in versus calories out, or SITCO. Okay, this is a really important concept, and literally this is like the most important part right here, right? So if we can make sure, that our calories burned, so it could also be calories burned versus calories, eaten, in most cases, or drank. Don't forget, guys, you could also drink a lot of calories, and that's where most people get stuck. If you drink regular soda, you need to stop right now. Diet is not bad for you, unless you drink 50 a day, which, yeah. Okay, so calories out versus calories in, that's really how you lose weight. It's as simple as that. So let's say I burn 3,000 calories because, I do cardio for 30 to 45 minutes and I walk around at my job. So I'm a pretty active guy. Um, that just means if I need to lose 2 pounds per week, I feel comfortable eating, anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500. Now, on days that you're less active, you got to eat a little less. and you just need to do that consciously. So, you can make excuses all day for eating more, but I would love to hear people make excuses for eating less more often, please. Okay, so now we're going to get into kind of like the nutritional importance of what you're eating. So our body has to burn something as fuel, and more often than not, we want that to be fat, right? And that's why, like in my body manipulation framework, I really have a big emphasis on resistance training, at least 3 times a week, but preferably five. So however many is good, but if you don't currently lift, it is very important because if we're trying to recomp our body, meaning lose fat but gain muscle, well, we can't do that if we don't lift weights, right? And that's also why protein, oh my gosh, this thing's so hard to use. This is why protein is so important. That's a star. Um, Protein is so important because not only is our body being stimulated to grow muscle, but if we have protein, then we can actually build the muscle and retain it in some very heavy deficit cases, which I only do with some clients. If they really need to hit like a certain number or they feel the need to kind of rush the process, which I don't mind doing. I'm all about efficiency, guys. I mean, that's why I'm here to help you do it in a safe way. But ideally, high protein is really going to save you in many ways. That combined with resistance training and body recomp is possible. I don't think it's really possible for super advanced lifters, but if you're relatively new to lifting, you have an increased advantage for muscle building, just because your body hasn't been exposed to those stimulus for 10 years straight, so you have a slight advantage and you'll build muscle easier. um, okay, so to truly get weight loss, we need to do calories in versus calories out, and you guys should know how to do that based on the total daily expenditure I just kind of went through. Whoa. Okay. So moving on to genetics, I don't know how to clear any of this. I'm sorry. There's definitely a better way to do this. Um, so moving on to genetics, are you screwed? Okay. Question everybody wants to know. No, you're not screwed, and I say that because a lot of people will be like, "Well, I grew up fat. I've been fat my whole life, and I'm just gonna be fat because that's just who I am." I get it, I really do, but when you've seen the way that some people have transformed your body, or their body rather, it's hard for me to really like take that seriously when you can see people going through and changing so much. And it's super impressive. It's super hard though. That's why it's just easier to say it's based on your genetics, right? I will say that it does play a big role. Like, if you have fat parents, then you're more likely to have a high BMI. But let's talk about the environment versus the genetics, right? If we only have, you know, fast food and processed foods, and we're just like our parents are giving us high sugar, and just like overfeeding us, really, yeah, we're more likely to have that increased BMI. It's not just the genetic component, but it's the environment, right? And so, if you currently are somebody that buys the chips and everything, like you live on your own at this point, and or you live with a family, I totally get like making sure your kids have some sweets that they enjoy. But we also have to try to build a good environment, not just for them, but for ourselves, right? Because eating a row of Oreos isn't good for us. It's not good for our kids, and I mean, it certainly doesn't make me happier because guys, I don't know why, but I've had this like evolution in my mindset where now I just like will eat a processed food and feel guilty about it. And that doesn't need to be the case with you, but when you're just like totally zoned in with your goals, and that's what I want for everybody, right? But it's a very rewarding feeling to eat something bad and then also be like, yeah, and I didn't enjoy that either. Um, I don't know, it's kind of crazy, but hopefully I can help get you guys there. That's the goal, right? So the environment is super important, arguably more important than the genetic component. But the biggest problem with the genetic component is, are you going to allow it to be an excuse, or is it going to be a reason to improve? Because, I mean, in any way you look at it, you can be a slave to any um, bad trauma or emotions that you've had, or you can push through and find new ways to evolve yourself as a human being, evolve your health. I mean, guys, there's nothing you can do that's better than take care of yourself and your body. I mean, I'm not a very religious guy, but we are given one body, and it would be a shame to just like destroy it, not take care of it, and then have to live with a body that we don't even love truly. And when it's really in our control, and everybody's body is different, but everybody has like a physique that they would like to achieve with their body. I would hope, because and if not, that's just a mental shift that needs to be made. But your genetics don't define you, um, and if you allow them to, then you're already losing the battle. Okay, so oh, nice. Okay, so let's talk about food, guys. Whole foods versus processed foods. Why do we want the whole foods? Well, were our ancestors eating goldfish crackers? Oh, wait. No, they weren't, guys. And they also, I'm sure they had some mental illnesses, but I'm a real big believer that whole foods, because of the influence they can have on your hormones, are a large reason why a lot of Americans actually have mental disorders and mental illnesses. It's no secret that some of these processed foods that are just high in preservatives and additives actually will not only make you feel less full, but definitely influence your hormones. In reality, real food or whole foods are just much easier to digest, and our body enjoys those foods. Um, so, if pricing is an excuse, you just kind of have to ask yourself, how important is my health to me? And actually look for the cheaper options. I don't know why people try to act like buying meat is so expensive when chicken breast is literally like $2 a pound, and you can get a rotisserie that could last 2 days, 3 days for like $7. I mean, not saying you should eat that for every meal, but I'm just saying, like, you're gonna tell me that a $7 box of cereal is more worth it than a rotisserie chicken? I don't know. Um, that okay. That's not to say that you can never have whole or sorry guys. That's not to say you can't ever have processed foods, but in general, it's so I really have a huge preference for whole foods when somebody's in a heavy deficit, because if we can get those whole meats first, we'll feel more full, and it'll be easier to eat less processed foods, right? So in general, eating whole foods is going to make you feel better. And it's not something that happens overnight, guys. It's something that takes a while to finally get to. But once you feel that way, then, or once you finally understand the difference and how it makes you feel, it becomes a lot easier. But you can really only do that by cutting out the processed foods. And that's a good start to anybody's dieting journey, is just trying to eat more whole foods and seeing how you feel on it. Okay, so moving on to discipline. we kind of have to look at the bigger picture because it's a long race, guys. I'm not gonna like lie to you and try to sell you a month package where you just like lose some water weight, because it really is like something that takes time. Yeah, it's we can lose a lot of weight in 3 months, but in reality, like this needs to be something you do for a lifetime, and you can go through cycles and ebbs and flows of being super on top of it and not. Um, Honestly, like I know when I need to cut back and really zone in, then it's just all about getting refocused. And so when we look at the bigger picture, it's like, do we want to go down the path of like having all these medical bills and not not being the person that we want to be, not being able to do the things we want to do? Do you want to be 60 and already in a nursing home? Like to me, that's unfathomable, and I that's like one of the last things I want, for myself and for my family, right? Um, Okay, and so just consider, where do you want to be, in 5 years, in 10 years, in 30 years? Do you want to be that cool grandpa that's still playing catch with his kids, or that dad who can't play catch with his kids? Which is, yeah, that hits pretty different. Um, okay, so health and movement is something that you will never regret, but you will regret not doing it. And I think the last analogy is kind of the perfect example. Is like you'll never regret being able to move around when you're old, but you'll regret not being able to move around before you're even old. Um, and that's just the reality. It's all about just like what motivates you and finding that and holding on to it really. So what are the next steps? So you guys know now how to really lose weight, based on BMR and thermogenesis, but how can we kind of take the next steps to it? Let's start with the gym. I think that the gym isn't just a place to work out, but it's the environment of people just trying to better themselves. Like I would pay for a gym membership just to like go see people working to try to improve themselves and be healthier and be a better version of themselves. Like, and what's more motivating to you than watching other people work on themselves? So, if you don't currently go to the gym, just DM me, text me, and we can just talk about it and just like, what is the biggest challenge with you going to the gym? Act like it's a coaching call. Because guys, at the end of the day, like the gym is something that you can do with your friends. You can meet cool people there, and it's just a really rewarding experience. It's like a video game where you get to get a new record every time you play, at least for the first while, and then it becomes hard and you have to dial in. But that's like anything, right? If you really want to be good at something, you got to keep putting in the work. Okay, so I mean, the first step is to just start tracking something. If you know that you're doing something bad, then be self aware. I mean, that'll go a long way in itself. If you really need to lose weight, weigh in so we know where we're at. If we're not making progress, like think about it like this: would you rather not know you made progress in the wrong direction for 2 months, or would you rather just try to fix it after 2 days because you know you're headed in the wrong direction? You could also try counting calories, just reading the nutrition labels, trying to understand what each thing means, and yeah. Also, let me just make a quick note of this because I think it's super important. So, 4 calories. This is supposed to be kcal, but just that's fine. Protein and carbohydrates are 4 calories. Guess how much fat is? 9. So double and a quarter, guys. Does that mean you can't have fat? No. Um, but that just means watch the fat, because if you are having things that are high in fat, they're also high in calories. And that's just something to be aware of. So If you can buy low fat options at the store, I definitely would recommend doing that. Unless you're just on carnivore, then you can keep both of these things high. Um, but if you're not on carnivore, you have no reason to just go with whole fats. They don't have any additional benefits. In fact, you're just probably adding more calories. And if you can't make the sacrifice on taste, even though there is none, um, man, I swear some of you guys be like the most like Michelin star chefs because I don't taste any difference in like any of the stuff. Um, that's 0 cal, and I feel like people just like have the calories for no reason. Um, I'm talking to you people that can't drink diet pop, especially, and then mindfully eating. So just don't be stupid. If you eat a whole roll of Oreos, then you need to do like 50 push-ups per Oreo. I mean, guys, like I don't know what you even think you did to deserve 50 Oreos because you know it's not good for you. It's not good calorie wise. And I don't think you need anybody telling you that. I think you need to just have more self control and more discipline. So learn to control your cravings. It's not easy, but it does get easier. And, you know, you can have one Oreo. Like nobody's telling you not to have one Oreo. You don't need to have more than one Oreo, especially if your goal is to lose weight. It took you 5-10 years to put on all that weight, so it's not just going to come off in two weeks. We got to put in the work, but we can speed it up with the science. Okay. um, and I kind of wish I would have put this up here first, but guys, these videos will get better. I'm sorry they're not perfect, but hopefully you guys learned something and can take something away. Let, please just like send me a message if you have any questions or anything. I would love to answer and hopefully help you guys out a little more.